Oh, Silvia, Diana. That means 10 o'clock, I guess. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, dear participants. And thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us today. A warm welcome from cold New York, though, to this webinar, Leveraging Women's Networks to Advance Gender Equality. This webinar is organized by the We Empower G7 program team, and We Empower G7 is funded by the European Union, and it is implemented by UN Women and the International Labour Organization. And I am Meral Guzel from UN Women, and I am the Women's Empowerment Principal Specialist. So, this is me. First of all, I would like to go over some housekeeping quickly. And even though I'm sure with COVID, we don't need much of this information, as we all became very much expert in joining webinars lately. So most importantly, if you have a question during the webinar, please enter it in the question panel that you see. And we will be happy to interact with you. And you can write it for the panelists and organizers. And the presentation will be followed up with an interactive Q&A session, time permitting. And so please send your questions so that we can facilitate the question with our panelists. And first of all, let's go over the agenda. And the opening remarks will be given by Ana Guallarte, and she's the program manager of the Foreign Policy Instrument of the European Union in EU delegation to Canada. Then we will have also opening remarks, but with an overview of the WEPs Journey by Anna Falth, and who is the We Empower G7 program manager and head of the WEPs Secretariat. And we have 4 panelists today, and all leading gender equality and women's empowerment work in inspiring 3 signatory institutions. And we are very excited today to explore their concrete strategies and also how WEPs has been changing their company culture. So I'm inviting Anna for the welcoming remarks. Over to you, Anna.
Thank you very much, Meral. Well, it's my pleasure to be here today. Thank you very much for organizing this very interesting activity. I'm always very happy that I have the opportunity to participate in these events, because in fact I'm always learning new things. Everything is very, very interesting and useful. As the European Union, with the foreign policy instrument, we really try to support with this project both multilateralism, that means to work better in a world governance, to say it with different words, but also gender is in the core of EU priorities. So our partnership with the UN Women and ILO is really very, very much appreciated in order to try to advance this agenda and this priority. And well, for this webinar today, I think that is what is very, very interesting. Just is go to the concrete, specific aspects of the agenda. I think that one of the most difficult aspects to try to change is inertia. And because we have inherited this kind of working environment that was designed previously for men and for the use of men, it's very difficult to really to change, and it's only through very concrete actions and tools that I think that can be changed, because otherwise we always remain in the narrative that is good to support the changes, but it really needs to work on these very, very concrete tools and in order to do it. Networking is key. I would say also I'm very happy that there is a men's panel, because we cannot do this women alone. We have to do it all together. That it will improve the balance, and it will really, this is the only possibility. So I let you now to continue. Again for organizing this, and thank you very much to all the panelists and to all the participants, and looking forward to hear. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you very much. We appreciate very much your thoughts and totally agree on working and on establishing concrete tools, and totally agree on establishing a good network for women, and also the interaction between women and men, right? And grateful for taking your time. So WEPs, hopefully we all know about women's empowerment principles. They provide guidance to businesses on how to advance gender equality and women's empowerment. And the WEPs Secretariat worked on a full cycle of WEPs Journey for all signatories. And Anna Falth, Women's Empowerment 3.7 Program Manager and Head of the WEPs Secretariat, will give you her welcoming remarks from the program point of view, and also give an overview of this WEPs journey. Over to you, Anna.
Thank you so much, Meral, and thank you also, Anna, for being here with us. And the European Union support to the women's empowerment principles is highly appreciated, and everything that we will hear today is thanks through the funding from the European Union. So thank you very much. I think we can move into the first slide. So this webinar is part of a series of webinars that we put together. We are working with a few companies that have some really exciting stories to tell, and that have gone through some of these principles and really made a good job to implement them. So this is part of, on both hand, celebrate the companies that have done great things, but also to raise awareness of other companies that are struggling with what they can do. So we have both these webinars, and we have the written case studies that we'll talk a little bit about later, that can help inspire ideas for what can be done. For those that are, we have a number of people here, and some might not yet have signed the Women's Empowerment Principles, but very, very briefly, because time is short and we want to give as much time as possible to our panelists, is that we have 7 principles, and they are requiring the CEO to sign in the company, and that they have 3 pillars that cover the workplace. So everything HR, everything related to safety and security in the workplace, and training and education are women. And then we have the marketplace that is covered by 1 principle, but it's packed of activities touching upon the supply chain, financing of suppliers and women entrepreneurs, but also removing stereotypes in advertising and marketing. And then we have a very exciting one that we hear a lot, but I don't think we have case studies yet, is engagement with women and girls in local communities. to make sure that companies are responding to the needs of women with their products and services. And finally, what you will hear from all of us later in the year is the measuring and reporting. We're working on a platform that would allow each signatory to show the good work that they are doing by contributing to this reporting platform. Am I driving the thing? Oh, okay, thank you very much. So as Meral was saying, we have developed this journey to simplify and really for companies to understand where are they in the journey. And for those that have not yet signed, are in the considering phase, those that are about to sign, and we have many companies joining us every day. It is, as I mentioned, the CEO is required to sign and make this commitment on behalf of the company. But we also encourage that after the signing that the journey that the journey continues to also activate the company now to actually put together an action plan, put together the people and resources that will make the implementation of the WEPs possible. The engage stage is where we feel that when the company has come to a certain place in their journey, they feel, okay, what else can we do? Looking outside, looking at the business partners, what can we do with our business partners, with our suppliers, with other ones around us? So we encourage the engagement with other stakeholders than the inside of the company. Sustaining it to make sure that data is collected and that the journey continues and doesn't stop. And the reporting is where we will come out with some news towards the end of the year on how companies can come to report. I think we can move to the next. So what we really encourage when companies sign is to celebrate this signature, to make the commitment transparent and visible to everyone. We can see that when this commitment is done through press releases, through photo ops, as you can see on the screen, there will be more likely that there will be follow through than if the signature goes under the carpet and it's kind of brushed away and there is a commitment, but nothing else will happen afterwards. So we have, when companies sign, a welcome pack with template of press releases and other social media, quote cards and other things to really enable that celebration of the signature, but also to be visible both internally and externally to all stakeholders to make sure that this is not just brushed under the carpet. And the joining, for those that haven't joined, it's very simple. We have all the guidance on the website under weps.org/join. There's FAQs, there's a guidance to go through every part of the form is being explained in detail. We currently have it in a few languages, but we're also expanding the different language versions. And this is also where you'll see where the company uploads the photo of the CEO and the quote. And once the next step, we can go into Meral, the next step, is when the company then creates a profile page. This is where this photo and the quote becomes visible to the public. We have Dr. Amany Asfour here as an example. But also this is the time where we use those photos for quote cards, and we take those and celebrate them on social media to give visibility to the CEO that made this commitment. I think we can go next. And as I mentioned, we are working with companies to capture what is really good in what they do. We go quite narrow in our approach, so it's not what the company does at large, but really what we zoom in on one. And we have what we will hear today from the panelists is really focusing on creating women's networks and making sure that we are promoting women's career progression in this. So we have two examples here from Group PSA and ENEL Group that we've been working on case studies. So they're also available on the website. And if we move on to engage, we have also partners that have started to engage with the stakeholders. We have GSMA, for example, that are engaging the entire GSMA network of of mobile phone providers and encouraging their membership of a few thousand members to also join the Women's Empowerment Principles. And then we have stakeholders like FinDev Canada that use the Women's Empowerment Principles as the lens to decide who to invest in. So they're investor and use it to see who are the gender responsive companies that we'd like to invest in. So there are different approaches to the engagement, and it can come in from different angles. So this is just two of them. And we have, at this stage, we also give an opportunity to these leaders to speak up and either on a topic or engage with us in putting out what they stand for, and use that piece to engage with their stakeholders. And yes, stay tuned for the reporting platform. It will be announced at the end of the year. And I think we can move on. Yes, great. So I'm happy to also give some quick actions at the end of this webinar, but I think we want to move in quickly. And I'm sure everyone is super curious about the speakers and what they have to tell us about their WEPs journey. So over to you, Meral. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna, for this very overall view. And just to add, not add, but just to highlight, WEPs Secretariat has been developing tools and resources and capacity building material to assist our signatories at every stage of this WEPs journey that Anna has briefly mentioned. So today, in today's gathering, and we would like to focus on the value of establishing women's network. It's a powerful way to networking and knowledge exchange, and that will make women's skills, talents, and leadership, highlighting women's skills and leadership, visible within different organizations. And we have 4 participants from 3 organizations. Our first panelist is Dr. Amany Asfour, and she has certainly multiple hats. And today she is joining us as the international president of the Federation for Business and Professional Women, BPW. I'm sure most of us, if not all, we have heard about BPW chapters in our countries where we come from, and maybe we become member of that, of them at certain point. So Dr. Amany graduated from the Faculty of Medicine, so she's a real doctor, and from Cairo University, and she joined the private sector though when she was a student. And she has been managing several initiatives towards women's economic empowerment, capacity building, and training. So Dr. Amany, could you please talk us, there's so many to tell, but a bit more about International Federation of Business and Professional Women, and which is one of the most efficient women networks globally. Thank you, over to you.
Thank you very much, Meral. Thank you for everybody. It's a real honor to be here with you, to share with you really about how women networks can advance gender equality. You see here, this is the history of BPW International. We are celebrating this year 90th anniversary. This is the first Congress we had in 1930 in Geneva, with all these women are marching for women empowerment and gender equality. So from 1930 till 2020, this year we are celebrating 90th anniversary of BPW International. So what is BPW International? It's an influential global network that's present in all the continents across the whole world, with a consultative status of the ECOSOC UN. Founded in 1930, BPW International develops the professional, the leadership, the business potential of women at all levels through our mentoring, networking, skill building, economic empowerment programs and projects across the whole world. And so BPW International, as you see, this is our first executive in 1930, and I am honored to be now the international president of BPW International, carrying the journey of 90 years of women empowerment and gender equality. So if we say that every president come, we put for the triennium, and this triennium is about empowering women to realize sustainable development goals. This is our journey for sustainability of PW International. We have put for us advocacy pillars for economic empowerment of women that includes women entrepreneurship, women trade and access to market, women empowerment principles, women on board, women financial inclusion, women in digital economy and ICT, women equal pay, women in STEM, education, innovation, government and corporate procurement policies. So those are advocacy pillars that we are working on for economic empowerment of women. So if we are saying that this is the economic empowerment of women advocacy pillars, we have a strategy. I call it the triad of empowerment. This is about three pillars, three P's. The first pillar is about the personality, how we empower the women, how we make sure that she builds up her capacity, we educate her to run her business, to open her enterprise, to build her career. It's about personal empowerment programs. The second P is the policy advocacy. And this is, of course, one of the issues that we are very, very strong at advocacy with the decision makers, with the heads of states, with all the institutions in order to have the policies in favor for economic empowerment of women. Two of the advocacy pillars we are working on for policy is about government procurement and about financial inclusion. And of course, WEPs is a major issue that we are working on. Then the third pillar is project development. We do projects in order to empower our women economically at all levels in the 100 countries across the whole world of BPW International. So in this issue, we need what I call the circle of empowerment. The circle of empowerment is about how to achieve all what we are working on. It's about awareness and popularization, education, capacity building, training, young entrepreneurship promotion and building the entrepreneurial culture, access to financial resources, access to technology and information, technical assistance and support services, advocacy, and project development. You can see it's very, very important to understand why the networks are very important to achieve gender equality and women empowerment. Because with reference to you belonging to a network organization, it's really about how you raise the strategy, awareness, access to information, advocacy and lobbying, and access to training and capacity building. So that is why mandatory, and I am very happy and I congratulate the WEPs teams and all the UN Women and the We Empower team for having us today and working together for promoting how the women networks really advance the gender equality. So in the anniversary, the 10th anniversary of WEPs, BPW International has started to promote WEPs since 2020. And BPW Egypt, where I'm here now from Egypt calling you, we started 2020 when UN Women was UNIFEM to promote WEPs. Now, across the whole world, our 100 affiliates are working for WEPs. Maybe we're talking about, but we are very proud to be signatory now for WEPs. This is a brief about our BPW International, about how our affiliates across the whole world. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Amany. And I feel I pushed you, saying that there is so much to tell, from BPW, how we can put all this information together in a few slides. Thank you so much. That was great. And our next presenter is from Group PSA, which is a French multinational car manufacturer. So the corporate culture is traditional, meaning with traditional gender roles in Group PSA, and where there have been, let's say, a few women in senior positions. So whereas women make up the large part of the consumer base, you can say who decides to buy a car in a household. And so, the group employs more than 20,000 women and men, but the consumer base make up 70% of women. So the group absolutely recognizes the importance of women and pledge to make sure women are central for a diverse and global market. So we have two speakers from Group PSA, Xavier Gist, and thank you very much for being here today. We couldn't reach the gender balance, but we have a gender diversity in our panel, thanks to you, thanks to your participation. And he's in charge of the social responsibility of Group PSA and of its international social dialogue. In this role, he is responsible also for the group's equal opportunity and diversity policy and implementation. So he's joining us from Paris. We also have Silvia Martinucci, and she's joining us from Latin America. She's the legal director for Latin America of the group PSA. And even though she entered the group PSA 20 years ago, she actively participates in PSA's Women's Network since 2017 to promote women participation in management positions. So she's also part of the mentoring program for women managers and the diversity ambassador for legal department worldwide. So our first questions go to Xavier. Can you please tell us a bit about Group PSA and the place of the woman in this company? Because also as a follow-up, as an automobile industry, do you find it more difficult to get this gender balance? And we may have some follow-up questions later.
Thank you, Meral. Thank you, Meral, and hello everyone. I'm very pleased to be with you today and to have this opportunity to share with you our experience. Yes, PSA, the group PSA is an automaker, a company existing for more 200 years in the automotive industry for more 1 century. So you can see all our legacy, and we have several brands. Peugeot, Citroën, DS. We have Opel and Vauxhall entered the group 3 years ago now, and a new brand, Free to Move, in the field of services, especially in the field of our new business model in car sharing, for instance, and also all services related to electromobility, to autonomous car. So you can see we are in a sector with a huge change of technologies and changes of business model. But that's right, we are viewed as a male sector. It means that women are minority. So in fact, we have these stereotypes in the car profession at all the level, engineering, manufacturing, but even in sales and marketing. So it's a very old but still powerful stereotypes. And yes, the first thing is that we need to be conscious as company of this situation, and I can say of this problem, and not to deny. And secondly, we need to understand that it could be a weakness, and that we must tackle this issue. Why a weakness for a company for us? Because it is not consistent with our customers, as you said, Meral. It is not consistent neither with the reality. The 20,000, more than 20,000 women working in the group, and not consistent with our future. It's why our first key indicator and key action plan is to promote more women at high level position in the group. When we began this action plan, it was a little more than 10 years ago. Women were only 4% of our top management, and now at the end of 2019 we reach 17.6%. So of course it's a huge progress, and above all, it is in line with our objective to reach 20% in a short term. 20%, it means the same percentage as the women in the group. So it means equal treatment, and it means also a role model everywhere in the company, at all the level, and at high responsibility position in the group. Maybe maybe to introduce the network, because in the same time it is on the second slide, maybe, and then Silvia could speak as a member of this network. I am also a member of this network. We at the same time 10 years ago, it's as a birthday this year, a women network was created at PSA. It was at the initiative of some women at that time. It was designed to be independent from the management and outside any hierarchical organization, with two purposes: showing the added value of women within the group, and secondly, to help access of women to high responsibility and position and the group. And of course, the company support this this network and received it's received the sponsorship of Carlos Tavares, our CEO. And nowadays
so that would
we have.
be actually my follow-up question, but you answered it already. My question would be, how do you receive this support? It's only at the Women Network, and Silvia is managing, and a few men like you are supporting this on the side, or there is a real support from the top management, including the CEO and the board?
I would say it is really the initiatives of women. First of all, it is a network based on the commitment of each member, but the support is to be a sponsor, demanding support, in fact, because we are very focused on our performance and business goals. It is right for Carlos Tavares, our CEO, but for all the company, and of course for women in the company and members of this network. So we received this this sponsorship, demanding sponsorship, okay, but the trust of the CEO of the company.
Great, thank you. I mean, we certainly encourage all companies, first of all, like Group PSA, to recognize the place of women as employee and customers, and then encourage all companies, especially with the non-traditional sectors, to develop policies and practices to hire more women, but maybe more importantly, also to retain those women employees, which is another block of job. So thank you very much for this. And Silvia, we will go back to you. I'm entirely talking about the Women's Network in our second round of questions. So ENEL Group speaker is our third speaker. ENEL Group is a multinational energy company, and with a presence in over 30 countries, and has 68,000 employees. Sorry. The group has a global diversity and inclusion policy since 2015, and our speaker, Silvia Fiorentini, is joining us today from Italy, and she will talk about this policy, first of all, which led to an extensive engagement of the staff, and including creation of a working group. And to foster women leadership at managerial and senior position, they also developed a mentoring and shadowing program. And Silvia is leading the talent management, holistic leadership, that is very great to say, holistic leadership, and change management team in Group ENEL. And she has been with the group since 2006. And after managing a team and dealing with negotiating master agreements in the energy utility, she changed departments and to work and focus on talent management. And over to you, Silvia. And our first question would be about the ENEL Group initiatives that open opportunities for women and to become leaders in your company. So let's begin maybe with the first question. What is the role of women in ENEL Group? Over to you.
Okay, good morning, good afternoon to all. Have you heard me? Yes, it's okay. Thank you for this opportunity for me as a woman and for my company ENEL, ENEL SPA and the ENEL Group. Thank you. So yes, you see that ENEL, yes, an Italian multinational energy company, very large, and the women presence is the 21%, and the average age is 44 years. But in recent years, ENEL, there's been an attention to increase the representation of women in managerial position. We are a very strong commitment toward the gender equality that involves the company at all levels, including the board of directors. One process that works in this direction is the succession planning that we manage in our team. That is a process that every year involves about 1,200 managers that sit on managerial position. So the process is that each boss identify his or her successor for the managerial position. And one criteria is the new for this year, for the 2020 years, is that at least the 15% of successors are women. We increase this percentage because the last year was the 30%. So this is a very strong commitment to increase the percentage of women on managerial position. The boss, the manager, identify the successor, specify the reason why they choose the successor, and above all, the soft skill gap, the soft skill that the successor have to improve between some soft skill that ENEL said like a manifesto, and why he or her choose this candidate. All these processes are managed by a dedicated platform, and this way is possible to monitor and report the data and also the presence of women in this managerial position. This year, the 38% of successors are women, and increase respect the next year. Yeah, and this is the focus of ENEL and about the woman. This is a special focus, and the inclusivity and the inclusion policy is a very strong commitment to promoting the culture of the diversity, because we know that harnessing women talent is not just a social good, but also is good for the business, for the market, because it helps uncover and unleash hidden talents, increase job satisfaction, attraction, and also retention, but also team innovation and results. For us, for ENEL, diversity and inclusion is also a way to express that we call an open power attitude. For this reason, for the past year, ENEL has been working toward achieving the balance in recruitment by shortlisting equal number of women and men. But the major challenge for ENEL is to find women to fill the technical role. This is the critical aspect, because in this sense, we are working on a series of activities, for example, through partnership with university to encourage the women interest in technology, because for example, for power plant or other sector that are very technical and not so near to the woman, but we try to attract women also in this special job, in this special team.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Silvia. And we can feel the passion actually of ENEL Group. And so 38% of this year's successors will be women. And I mean, it is also a great opportunity. It has been a great opportunity for ENEL to recognize that you shouldn't miss women's target. And years ago, I think more than 10 years ago, President Zelik of World Bank said, women's economic is smart economics. I mean, it is a business issue. So we are going back to BPW, to Dr. Amany, and to ask her, can you please talk about the value Women's Network bring in any organization and countries in large? Over to you.
Thank you very much. I think it is very crucial, this topic, because belonging to an organization gives a voice to our women across the whole world. So if we are talking about BPW International, which is present in 100 countries of the world, it amplifies the voice of all the chapters that we have across the whole world. It amplifies their advocacy efforts. It reaches out to the decision makers, to the heads of states, to the parliamentarians, to the institutions. So in any country that we have BPW affiliate, it shows that all our efforts across the whole world has been reflected throughout the whole chapters across the world. So if we are talking, for instance, about women empowerment principles and how it is very important that it can be lobbied for against the whole world, we started 10 years ago, and through 10 years, it has been now promoted across the whole world. So it gives resonance, it amplifies our efforts.
We don't hear.
It also shows the real partnerships. If we partner as BPW International, you cannot hear? Hello? Can you hear? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Now, yes. Now,
can you hear me?
Yes, now, please. Yes, yes.
Hello? Can you hear me now? Okay, okay.
Yes.
Internet. So it's not, yes. So when I am saying that across the whole world in BPW International, if you have a project you want to promote, then it will be amplified across the 100 countries. If we as BPW International on the whole at the international level make now partnership with UN Women, and we are happy to do that to promote WEPs, then it can be reflected across the whole world. Advocacy efforts. I just want to say like what we do as advocacy efforts. One, we were successful was the government procurement, and this is very important to show as a storytelling and case study with across how a women organization could be very, very very concrete and very for the advocacy level. BPW Egypt is part of the Gender is My Agenda campaign, which is mainstream towards the African Union. And I am happy, Anna, you are here because European Union can have the same thing that we did in the African Union, very successful. As we are the African Union, we lobby with the heads of states. So one of the things I have been very, very determined to do is to lobby with the heads of states. I was very successful with Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, that I was lobbying for special preferential treatment for government procurement for women. We all know that only 1% of all government procurement across the world, which is $15 trillion, goes to women. So now
we can hear.
Kenya has implemented 30% of all government procurement goes to SME, women, youth, and people with disability. Same thing we lobbied with. Hello? 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 Can you hear me?
We can't really follow.
Can you hear me
now?
now?
We couldn't be able to follow.
Hello?
But you can continue.
Okay. Okay, so another with the current chair of the African Union, President Ramaphosa of South Africa, we have been lobbying for him to see as a group network how we can have this government procurement implemented across the whole African continent. So now it is adopted by the African Union that at least 30% of all public procurement goes to SMEs, women-owned business. And in South Africa, now it is 40%. So you see how a women, you can see now how advocacy, it makes a difference. It makes a difference when you belong to an international organization that have a women network. It can amplify your voices for the advocacy effort. It can also make all our projects across the whole world. It shows how powerful that this voice of the women in the rural areas, for instance, in Africa, or the rural areas in the Asia Pacific, or some women in different parts of the whole world, we are the voice of the.
Amany, we cannot really hear you completely, and it cuts a lot.
And our strategy is leaving no women behind. That is really how.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Amany. It is difficult to follow up, but if we have time, we can certainly come back because it cuts continuously. It's difficult to follow up. Thank you very much. But also, we want to say that as WEPs, we are very happy and glad about our new collaboration and partnership, and we are looking forward also to go this big outreach. And Anna also has been listening to you very carefully. We just realized. Thank you so much.
Yes,
so,
we have to work. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm moving to Silvia, and so Silvia on PSA groups, PSA. So establishing internal women's networking groups and acknowledging more than anything gender issues within a corporate culture and begin pronouncing gender topics within a company. It really boosts awareness on gender equality topics. So can you please tell us more about how a women's network within the corporates like yours, which is multinational, help you create gender balance at all levels, and what have been the benefits that you get out of that? Thank you. Oh, we can hear you. Can you please unmute? We can't. Oh.
Your microphone, Silvia.
Yeah, it's just microphone. Yeah. It's green. It's green.
Yes, it's green.
Oh. So it's a computer problem, maybe.
Yes, very in the police, Silvia. When we see her, we can hear her, and on the contrary, when we can hear her, we can't see her.
And I would really hate Xavier to answer to this very important question instead of you. So
yes,
Silvia,
well,
maybe Xavier can just begin, and maybe you can just log off and log in, and by looking at the. Meanwhile, for the interest of time, Xavier can begin, and maybe Xavier, maybe you can talk about the importance of men to participate to this, to this event. So approaching from a different angle. And when Silvia is back, she can talk about the larger women's network activities and implementation. How it works?
Yes, of course, it's more important. Yes, I can speak about men because I have a man, and I'm very honored to be part of this network as not as member, in fact, but as a partner. So, of course, what is more important is the place of women in this network. There is 700 of members, and we have in addition something as 100 partners. It is men or women who don't want or for any reason to be really member of this network, but who are supportive and committed for this network. And I think it's a good way to include men in a women network. Sometimes some network are very open. Our network is not so open. It is open to women who want to commit themselves, and they enter the network by co-optation. But it's interesting to have some support and some partners, and it is how I entered this network. And I think, of course, it's a good way to yes to value, in fact, this network and the work of this network. But I don't know, Silvia.
So I don't see Silvia, but I will just go over to ENEL group, and but when Silvia comes in, we can come back to this question because that was the central question of the panel. And if not, Xavier, you can always complement it.
Okay.
Yeah. So ENEL group, and so we talk about so far on the importance of empowering women employees, and with an ultimate goal to promote opportunities for women's professional development. And so women's networks are great ways to foster networking and knowledge exchange. But mentoring programs are gaining enormous interest and in many countries. And actually, I would like to let know to all our audience that we are finalizing 2 guidance notes. One would be very of interest of Xavier. It's called Engaging Men at the Workplace. So we are very we are very optimistic that that will be a big hit. And within the Women Network and within many organizations, especially in non-traditional areas. But also we are finalizing a guidance note on mentoring that will be shared next month. So Silvia, can you please explain us the mentoring programs you are running and also how many years you have been mentoring in ENEL? Thank you. Over to you.
Yeah. Okay. So the mentoring is born in 2018 and the first part took place the next year. So the mentoring process is closely related to the process of succession plan that I told you earlier. When a manager identifies his or her successor, identify any skill gap and the skill on which the successor have to train within the soft skills identified by ENEL and suggest any development action. Among the development action, there is the mentoring. So the mentoring in ENEL is the action of the development of the successor and in general for the people that are on the path of managerial position. So the protagonists are the mentee and the mentor. The mentor is the expert manager, the middle manager, and today in ENEL we have more than 300 of mentors, and the mentee that is the less experienced employee. And the number is the same, and the mentoring paths consist of a series of one-to-one meetings between and in support of the mentee professional growth and maturation. The aim of this project is to learn through experience. Require of course the willingness of mentor to share his successes, but also, this is the crucial point for us, his or her failures, because as they're also part of his or her baggage, are important to avoid repeating same mistake. In the past, in this sense, ENEL made a special campaign called My Best Failure campaign, based on the approach of either you win or you learn. Focus on the importance of the mistake, because the aim is to create an atmosphere free in the office and from the fear of the failure and open to experimentation. Each innovation comes from an exploration phase, can also include failed attempts. So the failure is a step for learning and improving. In this sense, the important is that the mentor share with the mentee its experience in the aspect positive, but also in the negative aspect. Also, for the mentoring, we have a dedicated platform, because it's important to monitor and report the path, all the path, and with diary and the final feedback, because for us it's important also to know how the mentor and mentee feel in this path. And all the process are based on the soft skill. Mentee identify the skill he wants to train within 15, and mentor offers 3 skills on which he feels he can make a contribution. The algorithm creates the matching. So the matching is made by the platform, by the algorithm, and the mentee can see on the platform, on his or her profile, just the mentors that have the skill selected. After, invite the mentor and can begin the path. The duration of these are 3 or 6 months, depends from the frequency of the meeting, of course. And this action was very important and is important today. In fact, we are trying to make some mentorship intra-company, because we follow with this project where mentor and mentee provided by ENEL are being matched with mentors and mentee of international company. So this is essential to us, for us to acquire intercultural managerial skills, sharing experience with other companies. So we think that mentoring is a very good choice to share the experience and to share all the all the life of the company and other with the other company.
Thank you very much, Silvia, and thank you very much. The other Silvia, could you join? I think even though we don't see you,
do you listen to me now?
Yes, we do. Don't worry. Without the,
okay, so either you see me, either you listen to me. I cannot do both. So okay. Well, you asked me before about what I think what women's network can do in a company, and as we were talking before, gender diversity is something that today every enterprise, modern enterprise, is aware that it's a business. It's a business issue. And as the other Silvia said 2 minutes ago, it's because when you have different perspectives and you have different points of view, you can get better ideas, more innovative. And also, for example, especially in our case, that we have all those customers and half of them are women, it is important to have this customer approach from a woman's point of view. And we all know that this process is very, very long, and we are far away from being in a balanced gender diversity. And that is why I believe that women's network are a powerful tool to boost this change. In PSA, for example, as Xavier explained, we have this network that is formed by 700 members that has two principal objectives. On the one hand, it is supporting business. And I can give you 2 or 3 beautiful examples of how this works in the practical way. For example, now it is mandatory for each project car to have a panel composed only by women who will advise and give recommendations and ideas about the design of the car. Then we have the women that, for example, gave wonderful ideas about the electrical car. And another useful example for business support is the mystery shoppers, ladies that go undercover to see how the after-sale service functions. But on the other hand, and this is very important also, this networks, or at least our network, helps women to grow. They are inspiring, and we make seminars or conferences, so the other women can get this image of what a role model is. We also have a mentoring program there where women can help other women that are starting their career. And it is not a substitute of HR's policy. Another wonderful thing is that you have this solidarity between women. That is something that I find extraordinary. And for example, in my case, I am from Latin America, from Argentina, and I felt from the very first day this solidarity of my European colleagues, how they wanted to share their best practices because they started first. And so there are no borders in this network, and there are no silos in this network. So everybody from different areas, we work together with one purpose, which is try and get this other women become key managers in this enterprise. And it has an effect, and cascade effect, because then you get in touch with other women's networks, and well, things kind of flow easily. So that's it.
Thank you very much, Silvia. Thank you so much. We are already over time, and our presenters may have more to say, but most importantly, we are receiving so many questions from our participants as well. So what we will do, we will combine all those from site to site, and we will post them on the event page. And that way, the questions will be there, the presentations will be there, and we will be sticking to the time, just being mindful of the time that many of us may want, we have all other engagements. So I will be moving over Anna for the closing remarks, and we also have a mini poll, and we will love your participation. And thank you very much to all the presenters, the speakers, for your insights, for your view. And I know it was just a piece of what you have been doing, and more to come. Thank you so much. Over to you, Anna.
Thank you very much. And I think we already have captured the group PSA and the ENEL group's stories in the case studies, the WEPs in action. So I really hope that everyone will take some time to review those and really get the depth of this work. Let's run with I think I'm not able to answer, but I think all of you are. Did you benefit from the event? Yes and no. And then we'll have, how many questions do we have, Meral? Thank you very much. Thanks to our wonderful panelists for having given information that really benefited a large majority of participants. So thank you very much. I'd like to just pick up on the word as we go through these poll questions. How satisfied are you with the information that you received? Very, somehow, neither, somehow dissatisfied, and more information is needed. More information is needed is, of course, we can never have enough knowledge about something, but we're happy to also reach out to you on more information. I'd like to pick up on the word on solidarity, because I think in the COVID-19 time, solidarity is very, very important. And within women in companies, but also women in supply chains. And really, this is the time to support women entrepreneurs that are struggling to make ends meet and to keep their employees on staff. So I encourage everyone to look deeper into Principle 5. We did receive a few questions, and as Meral said, we will answer those on the platform or by email for specific questions and engagement. There was one question if other stakeholders than the private sector can engage with the WEPs, and certainly. And I will talk briefly about a campaign that we have, We Commit campaign, And on our website, there are a number of resources and examples on what you as an individual, as you and in an NGO, in academia, what you can do to really help drive this agenda. There was also questions on if we are focusing on particular sectors. At this point, we have focused very much on the entire WEPs community, but we will soon be coming out with some guidance on what energy sector companies can do, and also in finance and tech. So these are the areas similar as we've heard today that are male-dominated sectors, and we are really trying to go deeper into those and help bring some recommendations across. And I think if we can close the poll after the webinar, do we have? Okay, thank you very much. Do we have more questions coming? If we are done with the poll, I'd just like to make two suggestions to the audience. It is to subscribe to our newsletter. At the bottom of weps.org, you'll have an indication, and you will be able to get updates about the Women's Empowerment Principles. And the other one is really to join us in the We Commit campaign and really drive more companies to join in your supply chains, among your business partners, but it also has some ideas for what each and one can be doing. I'd like to thank all the panelists for your amazing contributions. It's not the last time we hear from you, I hope. We have you on our website, we hear your stories, and there will be other opportunities to discuss this amazing work. And finally, thanks also to Anna and the European Union for all your support to make this happen, and Meral for having moderated the session, and everyone else in the back end here. We have Diana, Alicia, and others that have been helping on the technical side, and also. So thank you very much, everyone, until we hear from you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.